With the protests that you're seeing, there's a couple of things that, and we should have showed the video of what happened, particularly at NYU. What I learned during the Black Lives Matters protests, when I was notified that under the previous administration that there were those anarchists that came into the city with the determination of really disrupting and tearing our city apart. And I remember meeting with some of the organizers, telling them you have to start policing yourself because there are people who are embedded that are not part of the Black Lives Matter movement. They came into our city. Remember some of the arrests we made, and you looked at some of the people, they were from outside our city. We strongly believe that is the case right now, that there are people who are here, they latch on to any protest. To see our police officers having bottles thrown at them, chairs. I looked at a helmet of one of our. Oh, is that the
bottles?
The bottle. Yeah. To see, you can turn it around, and it's a sort of a lengthy. The number of bottles that were thrown, chairs thrown at them. People who peacefully protest for an issue, they're not throwing bottles and chairs, and so we know that we have acknowledged and saw across the country, there are people who come, have nothing to do with the issue, and they want to aggravate. Now, if those police officers didn't show a high level of discipline, this could have been an ugly situation. And when you look at the helmet, I hope they show the helmet of one of the officers. This officer was wearing a helmet when he was hit with the chair. The chair dented the helmet. Can you imagine if he didn't have the helmet on? And when the police department called me and said, many people look down on officers wearing their helmets. Should they wear the helmets? I said, you're darn right they are. They're going to protect themselves from what I believe is a number of people who are really trying to use this to cause violence in our city, and we're going to seek them out. And we're going to identify them. And I think Commissioner Daughtry made a good point. When I saw one of the interviews he did, why is everybody's tent the same? Was there a fire sale on those tents? There's some organizing going on. There's a well-concerted organizing effort. And what's the goal of that organizing? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. And of using disgusting terminology, it's just, you shouldn't do it. I protested before for the South African Indian apartheid. I know what it is to march the streets. I know what it is to protect protesters as the police officers. This is a different energy that I'm seeing. To call for no, there was very similar tents at Columbia. The green ones were very similar. Orange, blue. Yeah. Those orange. Look at those orange, and look at what they had over at Yeah. Okay. All right. But I say that to say that we can't have outside agitators come in and be destructive to our city. There was someone wanted something to happen at that protest at NYU that police officers didn't respond to.
But is there a specific response the NYPD is having to these protests?
Yes.
But what is that like? What's the specific directive when the NYPD is called in? What are they told? What does that look like?
It depends. If it's on private property like NYU or Columbia, they're told to send communications that you want us to come in and address the issue. If it's on the streets, they have to abide by the rules and regulations of how to protest on the street. But when it comes to private property, we get communication from the schools to handle it and give us the permission to come on, because you can't come on to private property, and they're consistent about that.